The Great Discovery. The red dust of Mars swirled around Dr. Sarah Chen's boots as she made her way across the Acidalia Planitia. The year was 2157, and humanity's first permanent Mars base, Olympus Station, had been operational for just over a decade. What started as a simple geological survey would become the moment that changed humanity's destiny forever. Base, I'm picking up some unusual readings about 2 kilometers east of my position, Sarah reported, checking her scanner again. The device's quantum sensors were detecting energy patterns that shouldn't exist on a dead planet. Permission to investigate. Granted, Dr. Chen, came the reply from Colonel James Martinez, the station's commander. But maintain constant communication. We don't want another incident like the Valles Marineris cave system. Sarah smiled despite herself. The cave incident had led to the discovery of Mars' underground water reserves, but she'd also managed to trigger a minor collapse that had the entire base in an uproar for days. This time felt different, though. The energy signature was unlike anything in their database. As she approached the coordinates, her suit's sensors began picking up more detailed readings. Whatever was buried beneath the Martian soil was giving off quantum fluctuations consistent with advanced technology. Sarah's heart raced as she deployed her ground-penetrating radar. "Base, you need to see this," she transmitted, her voice barely containing her excitement. The radar revealed a perfectly geometric structure buried 20 meters below the surface. "I'm sending the data now." Within hours, Olympus Station had deployed its entire archaeological team to the site. As excavation drones carefully removed layers of Martian soil, humanity made its first contact with alien technology, though its creators were nowhere to be found. The structure was a perfect cube, 10 meters on each side, made of a material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its surface was covered in intricate patterns that shifted and changed when observed, like living mathematics made visible. Dr. Viktor Petrov, the team's leading archaeologist, stood beside Sarah as they studied the artifact. "This is impossible," he muttered, running his scanner over the surface for the 100th time. "The material composition. It's manipulating quantum fields in ways we barely understand theoretically." But it wasn't until they discovered the entrance that the true significance of their find became clear. The cube wasn't just a relic. It was a message, and more importantly, a warning. The interior of the structure contained a holographic database, activated by human presence. As the team watched in awe, it revealed the history of a galaxy far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The creators of the cube, calling themselves the Precursors, had seeded the galaxy with these warning beacons before their apparent extinction. The message was clear. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and not all that waited among the stars was friendly. The Precursors spoke of a terrible force they called the Void Hunters, beings that sought to harvest young civilizations for resources and technology. Earth, it seemed, was next on their list. The news of the discovery spread across Earth like wildfire. For the first time in human history, the nations of the world faced a threat that transcended all earthly divisions. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session, and within days, the Global Defense Initiative was formed. Dr. Chen found herself at the center of it all, working with an international team to decipher the vast database of technological knowledge the Precursors had left behind. The cube contained blueprints for technology centuries beyond human development: quantum drives, energy shields, weapons capable of destroying entire fleets. "We have maybe a decade," Sarah explained to the UN Assembly, her hologram projected before representatives from every nation. The Precursors' data suggests the Void Hunters follow predictable patterns of expansion. Earth is in their path, and we need to be ready. The response was unprecedented. Ancient rivalries were set aside as humanity united under a single banner. Resources were pooled, research was shared, and construction began on humanity's first true space fleet. The Precursors had given them a fighting chance, but it would be up to humanity to prove they deserved it. As Sarah stood in the newly constructed Global Defense Command Center in Geneva, Watching as the first quantum drive prototype underwent testing, she couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and fear. Humanity had accomplished more in the past year than in the previous century, but would it be enough? The holographic display showed the construction of the first deep space shipyard in lunar orbit. Soon, humanity would have its defenders, ships capable of reaching the stars and fighting back against whatever threatened their existence. "We're ahead of schedule," Colonel Martinez, now admiral of the new fleet, announced. "The first battlecruiser will be ready for trials within 6 months." Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the streaming data from Mars. The cube was still revealing its secrets, each one more incredible than the last. But time was running out. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, humanity's greatest challenge was approaching. They would be ready, or they would perish. The great discovery had changed everything. Humanity was no longer alone, no longer confined to their solar system. They had been given the tools for their own salvation, but the hard part was still to come. The stars awaited, and with them, both terrible danger and incredible opportunity. As Sarah reviewed the latest translations from the precursor database, she couldn't help but wonder what other secrets the galaxy held, and whether humanity would be strong enough to face them all. One thing was certain: the age of Earth's isolation was over. The real question was, what would humanity become in response to this challenge? Rising from Earth. The orbital shipyards above Luna stretched for kilometers, their skeletal frameworks illuminated by the constant flare of fusion torches and construction lasers. 5 years had passed since the discovery on Mars, and humanity had transformed itself in ways few could have imagined possible. Admiral James Martinez stood at the observation deck of the GDS Armstrong, Earth's first fully operational battlecruiser, watching as her sister ship took shape in the yards below. The vessel's quantum alloy hull absorbed most visible light, making it appear like a ship-shaped hole in space. Only the pulsing lines of energy conduits broke up its perfect darkness. "Beautiful, isn't she?" Chief Engineer Yuki Tanaka appeared beside him, her holographic interface displaying the latest construction metrics. "The Hyperion will be even more advanced than the Armstrong. We've incorporated everything we've learned from your shakedown cruises." The Admiral nodded, his expression grim. "Will she be ready in time? The long-range quantum sensors are picking up disturbing readings from the Oort cloud. The Void Hunters are getting closer." Yuki's interface flickered as she pulled up the sensor data. 3 months until full combat readiness. "But that's not what worries me, sir. It's the crew. We're pushing them to their limits with this new technology." She had a point. The precursor technology they'd adapted required humans to interface directly with their ships through neural links. While it made the vessels far more responsive than conventional controls would allow, the mental strain on the crews was intense. They'd already lost 2 pilots to neural feedback during early trials. But humanity had no choice. The Void Hunters were coming, and conventional weapons would be useless against them. The precursor database had been clear about that. Down on Earth, the transformation was equally dramatic. The Global Defense Initiative had evolved into Earth's first true planetary government, though individual nations maintained their cultural autonomy. Resources that had once gone to war were now directed toward survival. Dr. Sarah Chen, now director of Xenoarchaeological Research, had established research centers around the globe, each dedicated to understanding different aspects of the precursor technology. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: a team of quantum physicists in Lagos, Nigeria. Dr. Adebayo Okafor and his team had discovered how to stabilize the quantum field manipulations that made precursor technology so powerful. Their work led to the development of true energy shields and weapons that could pierce the dimensional barriers the Void Hunters used for protection. In the sprawling underground complex beneath Mount Kilimanjaro, Sarah reviewed the latest test results. "The quantum synchronization is holding," she announced to the assembled holographic representatives of Earth's Defense Council. "Dr. Okafor's modifications have increased shield strength by 300%. "Excellent," General Lai Wei of the Asian Defense Coalition responded. "But will it be enough? The precursor data suggests the Void Hunters have destroyed civilizations far more advanced than ours. That's because those civilizations fought alone. Admiral Martinez interjected, his hologram flickering slightly due to transmission lag from lunar orbit. We've learned from their mistakes. The Void Hunters expect to find isolated planets, easy prey. Instead, they'll face a unified Earth with technology specifically designed to counter their advantages. The construction of planetary defense installations continued around the clock. Massive quantum cannon arrays were installed at strategic points around the globe, disguised as mountain ranges or hidden beneath the oceans. Orbital defense platforms, equipped with the latest shield technology, formed an invisible web around Earth. But the greatest achievement was the neural interface system itself. Unlike the purely mechanical approach most science fiction had imagined, humanity's space fleet operated on a deeper level. Each ship was connected to its crew through a quantum neural network, allowing for reactions at speeds that would be impossible through conventional means. Captain Maya Rodriguez demonstrated this capability during the Hyperion's first combat drill. Her consciousness merged with the ship's systems. She orchestrated a ballet of movement that left observers stunned. The massive vessel moved like a fighter, executing maneuvers that should have torn it apart. The neural link allows us to bypass traditional physical limitations, Maya explained afterward, still shaking off the lingering effects of the interface. The ship becomes an extension of our body, protected by quantum fields that we can feel and manipulate instinctively. But there was a cost. Each neural interface session left the crew exhausted, and there were concerns about long-term effects. Yet volunteers continued to step forward, driven by the knowledge that they were Earth's first and last line of defense. In orbital shipyards across the solar system, humanity's fleet took shape. The Armstrong and Hyperion were soon joined by dozens of other vessels, each incorporating improvements and refinements based on combat simulations and test data. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, automated quantum sensor arrays maintained their vigilant watch. The Void Hunters were coming, their vast fleet moving inexorably toward Earth's solar system. But they would find no easy prey here. Instead, they would face a humanity transformed, united, advanced, and prepared to defend their home with everything they had. As Admiral Martinez conducted final fleet exercises in the orbit of Jupiter, he couldn't help but feel a fierce pride. In just 5 years, humanity had achieved what might normally have taken centuries. They had taken alien technology and made it their own, improving upon it in ways even the precursors might not have imagined. The question was, would it be enough? The answer would come soon enough, as the quantum sensors detected the first ripples of the Void Hunters' approach. Humanity's greatest test was about to begin, and they would face it together, as one species, united in defense of their home. First contact. They came from the darkness beyond Pluto, their ships emerging from quantum space like obsidian shards cutting through reality. The Void Hunters had arrived, and humanity's quantum sensor networks lit up with warnings that spread across the solar system at light speed. Aboard the GDS Armstrong, Admiral Martinez watched the tactical display with steady eyes. The enemy fleet was massive. At least 300 vessels of varying sizes, their hulls seeming to absorb both light and sensor scans. But humanity had been preparing for this moment for 5 years. All ships, battle formations, he ordered, his neural link transmitting the command instantly to every vessel in the defense fleet. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. The human fleet, 50 ships strong, moved with perfect coordination. Their black quantum alloy hulls, reverse-engineered from precursor technology, made them almost invisible against the backdrop of space. Only the subtle distortion of starlight around their shield envelopes betrayed their positions. Captain Maya Rodriguez, commanding the Hyperion, felt her ship's systems through the neural interface as if they were extensions of her own body. Around her, her crew maintained similar connections, turning the massive vessel into a single, perfectly coordinated organism. The Void Hunters struck first. Their lead vessels fired weapons that seemed to tear holes in space itself, sending beams of pure entropy toward the human fleet. But humanity had known this was coming, had prepared for it. "Quantum shields holding," Maya reported, her voice calm despite the strain of maintaining the neural link. "Their weapons are exactly as the precursor data predicted, initiating countermeasures." The human fleet's response was devastating. Quantum cannons fired, their beams synchronized to pierce the dimensional barriers that protected the Void Hunter ships. 3 enemy vessels disappeared in explosions that briefly outshone the distant sun. But the Void Hunters were ancient predators, and they adapted quickly. Their fleet split into smaller groups, attempting to outflank the human defenders. That's when humanity revealed their first surprise: hidden quantum mines, seeded throughout the outer solar system over the past 5 years. Activated, the devices generated localized fields that forced the Void Hunter ships back into normal space, stripping away their dimensional advantages. "They didn't expect us to be ready," Dr. Sarah Chen observed from her command post in the Lunar Defense Center. She watched as the tactical displays showed the battle unfolding. "They're used to finding primitive civilizations, easy prey. We're anything but." The battle raged across the solar system. The Void Hunters, realizing they faced real resistance, began employing more sophisticated tactics. Their ships combined into larger formations, merging their dimensional fields to create weapons of incredible power. Admiral Martinez had anticipated this too. "Execute Operation Sunburst," he commanded. At his word, quantum beacons hidden in the Kuiper Belt activated, creating a web of intersecting fields that disrupted the Void Hunters' ability to combine their ships' powers. The enemy fleet's response was immediate and violent. A massive vessel, easily twice the size of the Armstrong, emerged from quantum space directly in front of the human fleet. Its surface rippled with energy patterns that hurt the human mind to observe. "Receiving transmission," Lieutenant Kira Patel announced from her communications station. They want to speak." The image that appeared on the Armstrong's main display was unlike anything humanity had prepared for. The Void Hunter commander appeared as a shifting mass of geometric patterns, its voice translating directly into concepts in their minds. "You are not as you should be," it communicated. "Your world was marked. You should be primitive, ripe for harvest. What are you?" Admiral Martinez stood tall, his neural link allowing him to project calm confidence to his entire fleet. "We are humanity," he responded. "We found the precursor warning. We prepared. This system is under our protection, and we will defend it." The geometric patterns shifted, conveying what might have been amusement. The precursors, of course. Their interference extends beyond their extinction. But they are gone, and you are alone. You cannot hope to defeat us. "We're not trying to defeat you," Martins replied, transmitting a coded signal to the fleet. "We're trying to show you why Earth is not worth the cost of taking." At that moment, the human fleet executed a maneuver that should have been impossible. Every ship activated their quantum drives simultaneously, creating a cascading resonance effect that the precursor data had only theorized was possible. The fabric of space itself seemed to ripple. The Void Hunter ships closest to the effect simply ceased to exist, their dimensional fields collapsing catastrophically. Others were thrown out of their carefully maintained formations, their sophisticated weapons suddenly useless. The battle that followed was unlike anything in human history. The Void Hunters fought with the accumulated knowledge of countless harvested civilizations, but humanity fought with the desperate innovation of a species that refused to be conquered. Maya Rodriguez led her battle group in a series of synchronized attacks that overwhelmed the enemy's defenses. The neural interfaces allowed human ships to coordinate with a precision that the Void Hunters couldn't match. Where they fought as individuals, humanity fought as one. Finally, after what seemed like hours, the Void Hunter fleet began to retreat. Their massive command ship lingered for a moment longer, transmitting one final message. "You are different," it conveyed. "Perhaps interesting. We will return. Be ready." As the enemy fleet disappeared into quantum space, a cheer went up across the human ships. They had done it. Humanity had faced its first major extraterrestrial threat and emerged victorious. But Admiral Martinez and the other leaders knew this was just the beginning. The Void Hunters would return, likely with a larger fleet and new tactics. But humanity would be ready. They had proven they could stand against one of the galaxy's most ancient threats, and they would only grow stronger. The question now was, what would the rest of the galaxy make of this upstart species that had bloodied the nose of the dreaded Void Hunters? The Alliance. News of humanity's victory over the Void Hunters spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. Species that had hidden themselves for millennia began to emerge, drawn by tales of the young civilization that had accomplished what many thought impossible. The first contact came 3 months after the battle. A ship of unusual design appeared at the edge of the solar system, broadcasting peaceful intentions in dozens of languages. Its crew called themselves the HFY, a species of energy-based beings who had been watching humanity's development from afar. Dr. Sarah Chen led the first diplomatic meeting aboard the newly constructed Unity station in Mars orbit. The HFY ambassador, a swirling pattern of blue-white energy contained within an environmental suit, spoke with unmistakable respect. For 10,000 years, we have hidden from the Void Hunters, the ambassador communicated through a quantum translator. We watched countless civilizations fall to their harvests. But you did not merely survive. You forced them to retreat. Admiral Martinez, present for the historic meeting, responded with characteristic directness. We had help. The precursor warning gave us time to prepare. Without that, we might have shared the fate of those other civilizations. The HFY ambassador's energy pattern flickered, and what they would learn was amusement. Many found precursor artifacts. Only humanity had the courage and innovation to use them so effectively. That is why we are here. More visitors followed. The Krith, a species of silicon-based beings who had survived by hiding their technology beneath the surface of seemingly dead worlds. The Meridians, who had evolved to exist in the space between dimensions. Each brought their own knowledge, their own technologies, and their own reasons for wanting to stand against the Void Hunters. Captain Maya Rodriguez found herself assigned to a new kind of mission, leading joint training exercises with ships from their new allies. The Hyperion's neural interface systems proved surprisingly compatible with other species' control methods, leading to developments none had thought possible. The key is adaptation. Maya explained during a strategic conference that included representatives from 12 different species. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our preparation. It's our ability to take diverse ideas and combine them in new ways. The evidence of this was clear in the rapidly evolving human fleet. Krith crystalline armor technologies were integrated with quantum shields, creating defenses that could adapt to any attack. Meridian phase shift technology combined with human neural interfaces allowed ships to execute maneuvers that defied conventional physics. But not all species were eager to join what was becoming known as the Galactic Defense Coalition. The Svorn, an ancient race that had carved out a neutral territory through careful diplomacy with the Void Hunters, viewed humanity's actions as dangerously provocative. You do not understand what you have done, their ambassador warned during a tense meeting of the Coalition Council. The Void Hunters do not forget, and they do not forgive. They will return with forces that will make their first fleet look insignificant. Admiral Martinez stood before the council, his hologram projected to representatives of 20 different species. "Then let them come," he declared. "Together, we are stronger than any of us are alone." That's what humanity has learned, and that's what we offer to all who will stand with us. The coalition grew rapidly, each new member bringing unique perspectives and capabilities. Research facilities throughout Earth's solar system became gathering points for scientists of all species, working together to combine their knowledge in ways never before attempted. Dr. Okafor found himself leading a team that included HFY energy specialists and Krith crystallographers, developing weapons that could target the Void Hunters' dimensional technology directly. The breakthroughs came quickly, each one representing a fusion of different scientific traditions. But perhaps the most significant development came from an unexpected source. A young human xenorchaeologist, working with Meridian scholars, discovered something in the precursor data that everyone else had missed. The Void Hunters aren't just raiders, Dr. Lei Ming announced to a stunned council meeting. They're running from something that destroyed their original home galaxy. That's why they harvest civilizations. They're searching for weapons or technology that could protect them. This revelation changed everything. The Coalition now had a choice: continue preparing for war, or attempt to understand and possibly help their supposed enemies. It was a debate that split the alliance, with some arguing for aggressive action, while others advocated for attempted diplomacy. Humanity, surprisingly, found itself in the role of mediator. Their unique perspective as newcomers to galactic politics, combined with their demonstrated ability to both fight and innovate, gave their voice particular weight in coalition discussions. "We prepare for war," Admiral Martinez declared to the Council, "but we remain open to peace. That is the human way. We will extend a hand in friendship, but we will not hesitate to form a fist if that hand is rejected." As the Coalition's combined fleet grew in size and capability, humanity's influence grew with it. Earth became a symbol of resistance and hope, a testament to what could be accomplished when different species worked together toward a common goal. But time was running out. Long-range quantum sensors detected increasing Void Hunter activity in neighboring sectors. They were gathering their forces, preparing for what would surely be their attempt to crush this unprecedented alliance. The question was, would the Coalition's combined strength be enough to face what was coming? And if it was, what would that mean for the future of galactic civilization? Humanity had helped forge something unprecedented. An alliance of species united not by fear, but by hope and determination. Now they would have to prove it could survive its greatest test. Turning point. The Void Hunter Armada emerged from quantum space like a storm of darkness, thousands of ships strong, their combined presence distorting the very fabric of reality. But this time, they faced not just humanity, but the combined might of the Galactic Defense Coalition. Admiral Martinez stood on the bridge of the newly commissioned GDS Unity, humanity's first true dreadnought. The massive vessel represented everything the Coalition had achieved. Crystal armor seamlessly merged with human quantum shields, ethery energy weapons powered by Meridian phase technology, all controlled through an advanced neural interface that allowed species from across the galaxy to work as one. "All Coalition forces, battle positions," he ordered, his words translated instantly into 24 different languages. The combined fleet moved with practiced precision, nearly 500 ships from 20 different species, each bringing their own unique strengths to the coming battle. Dr. Sarah Chen watched from the Coalition Command Center on Mars, surrounded by holographic displays showing the approaching conflict from every angle. "The diplomatic channel is open," she announced. "If we're going to try communication, now is the time." The revelation about the Void Hunter's true nature had led to this moment. Instead of merely preparing for battle, the Coalition had developed an alternative approach. Understanding that the Hunters were themselves refugees from some greater threat had changed the equation. Captain Maya Rodriguez, now commanding the Coalition's Rapid Response Force, felt the tension through her neural link. The combined consciousness of multiple species crews created a symphony of thoughts and emotions, all focused on the coming encounter. The Void Hunter command ship emerged at the head of their fleet, its size dwarfing even the Unity. Its transmission came not as geometric patterns this time, but as clear communication in all Coalition languages simultaneously. "You have gathered allies," the Void Hunter commander stated. "Impressive, but futile. What you have built, we will harvest. What you have learned, we will take. This is the way it has always been." Admiral Martinez stepped forward, his hologram projected into the space between the fleets. "We know why you hunt," he declared. "We know what drives you. We know about the darkness that comes from beyond the galactic rim. The Void Hunter fleet's formation wavered, just slightly. You know nothing, their commander responded, but there was something new in its tone. Uncertainty. We found more in the precursor archives than just weapons technology, Martinez continued. We found their research into the anomaly that destroyed your home galaxy, and we think we found a way to stop it. Dr. Okafor's team had made the breakthrough just weeks before, combining ethereal energy manipulation theories with human quantum mechanics and meridian dimensional understanding. The result was a theoretical defense against the cosmic horror that had sent the Void Hunters fleeing across galaxies. You speak lies, the Void Hunter commander accused, but its fleet had not yet opened fire. No civilization has ever offered aid. All seek only their own survival. That's where you're wrong, Martinez responded. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to unite, to bring together different perspectives, and find solutions no one could discover alone. That's what the coalition represents, not just survival, but cooperation. The silence that followed stretched for what seemed like eternity. The coalition fleet maintained its position, weapons armed but not targeting. This was the moment everything had led to. Not just the preparation for war, but the chance for something more. Show us, the Void Hunter commander finally demanded. Show us this solution you claim to have found. Dr. Chen activated the quantum transmission, sending the combined research of a dozen species directly to the Void Hunter command ship. Pages of calculations, theoretical models, and practical applications, the work of the greatest minds in the coalition, freely offered. The response was immediate. The Void Hunter fleet's aggressive formation shifted, weapons powering down. Their commander's next transmission carried a tone none had heard from their kind before. Hope. This could work, it acknowledged. But the implementation would require resources beyond any single civilization. That's why we're not a single civilization, Martinez replied. We're many working together. Join us. Help us perfect this defense. Your knowledge, combined with ours, could save not just one galaxy, but many. The negotiations that followed would be studied by diplomats for generations to come. The Void Hunters, driven by fear for millennia, found themselves offered not just a solution to their ancient problem, but a place in a community they had never thought possible. The transformation wasn't immediate. Trust had to be built, wounds healed, and new ways of interaction developed. But the foundation was laid that day, not through force of arms, but through humanity's unique gift for bringing together disparate peoples for a common cause. As the combined fleet of former enemies and new allies began their work on the Galactic Shield project, Admiral Martinez stood with representatives from across known space. The Void Hunters' ancient knowledge of dimensional engineering, combined with coalition innovation, promised to create defenses beyond anything the precursors had imagined. We did it, Dr. Chen said softly, standing beside him. Not by fighting, but by understanding. By offering hope instead of fear. Martinez nodded, watching as ships that had been prepared to destroy each other now worked together to build something new. That's humanity's real contribution to the galaxy, he replied. Not our technology or our tactics, but our ability to bring people together, to find common ground where others see only differences. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the hope that had replaced fear. Humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, it had helped forge a new future for all species. The age of isolation was over, replaced by an era of cooperation that would reshape the galaxy itself. As the first components of the Galactic Shield took shape, humanity looked to the future with pride and purpose. They had found their place among the stars not as conquerors or victims, but as builders of bridges between civilizations. It was a role they would continue to embrace as they reached further into the cosmic unknown, ready for whatever new challenges awaited them.